Hi guys, welcome back. This is Sound Living in Oklahoma. My name's Katie and I serve the awesome people here in Oklahoma City Metro. Today I want to talk a little bit about the market and the current state of the market. What is it doing? Kind of talk a little bit about buyers markets and sellers markets and what do they even mean? What kind of market are we in? I get that question quite a bit. So I thought we would kind of chat about it. And hopefully some people can pop on and join me in the conversation. Sorry, I'm just looking over the screen. If you do hop on and you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video, and I will try to answer those as soon as I can. I might try to give you the information and then look through the questions at the end. So if you think of one while I am talking, then feel free to post. And I'll get to your questions at the end. If you're catching this on the replay, feel free to comment, and I look through all of the comments at the end and kind of all throughout. So I will get back with your questions. Oh my gosh, see, I can't even see who has joined me. Who are you? See, I can't see all the comments. Event. Well, hi, whoever joined me. Okay. I am going to, like I said, I want to chat a little bit about what's a buyer's market, what's a seller's market, and what does it all mean? So kind of hang with me. I know that like I said, I get this question a lot, and people, I feel like, are so afraid of jumping into the market, and they get a little worried because they're unsure. Is it the right time to buy? Is it the right time to sell? How do I know? And so they get a little bit frozen, and so I feel like sometimes they'll miss out on some really great opportunities. So make sure that you're following these tips and you are getting in touch with a great licensed real estate professional, so that way they can kind of guide you through everything. So all right, so as far as talking about the market, you want to make sure that you are forgetting everything that you see on HGTV or just like anything like that, anything on TV that is just general and over the nationwide, because real estate is really local is what it is. So you want to make sure that you are getting in touch with what is your city, town, what does that look like, even compared to the state or national level. So it's going to be different no matter where you live. So you want to make sure that you're getting in touch with someone who's in the know. All right, so I wanted to just offer you a little bit of insight on what is a buyer's market, what's a seller's market, and really what it all comes down to is just that very basic principle of supply and demand. Okay, and I think we all kind of have a good feel for what that is, but a lot of times we don't necessarily know what that means in the real estate world. So let me break it down a little bit for you. So when we are talking about, I'm going to go through buyer's market first. So if you hear the term, hey, we're in a buyer's market, what does that mean? So this is meaning that the inventory is low. So the supply is the supply is greater than the demand in a buyer's market, okay? So you have inventory, that a lot of inventory, a lot of listings out there, and not quite as many buyers. So this is a good time for you to buy if you're a buyer, because it means that you're not going to get into a property and overpay for it. Typically, most likely you're not going to do that. So what does it mean if you're a seller and you hear, oh, we're in a buyer's market? That doesn't sound great. So if you are a seller in a buyer's market, it does put you at a little bit of a disadvantage, just because there is more competition at your level of home for sale. Does that make sense? So there are more homes like yours for sale on the market, and it kind of devalues what you have to offer because there's so many others out there. Think about it, if you are shopping at a store and there are all of these products on the shelf, there are a ton of one of these items, but then there's just a few of these others. It's more enticing to see the ones that's just one or two, because it makes you want it a little bit more. So when there's a ton of houses that are similar to yours on the market, it kind of dilutes the excitement about your house. So, I mean, is it a terrible thing? Not necessarily. Like I said, you always just need to be priced right. You need to have updates and improvements on your homes to appeal to those buyers. And you just have to have an agent that is going to market your home better than all those other houses. So is it a disadvantage? Yeah, maybe, but there are ways to get around it, you know? Okay, so seller's market. What does it mean to be in a seller's market? In a seller's market, that means that the supply is less than the demand, okay? So there is low inventory. There's not a ton of other houses out there making your house a commodity, okay? So buyers out there are going to want to see your house. They're going to want to make an offer on your house because there's not a ton of other houses out there, okay? So supply and demand. In a seller's market, it's obviously a great time to list because you're not going to have as much competition. It's going to make your house really shine and stand out because there's not a lot of others out there. So in a seller's market, if you have the right updates, if you are pricing your house correctly, that means that you're not going to have your house on the market for very long. The days on the market is going to be low. You might find yourself in a multiple offer situation. You're going to have motivated buyers. You are going to even possibly see offers above list price, which is great if you're a seller because you're making more money. So that can be a great situation. So if we're in a seller's market, but you're a buyer, what does that mean? Okay. Like I said before, you might be at a disadvantage, but it's not something that you can't get through if you have the right guidance. As a buyer in a seller's market, 3 things that you can really do to help yourself. As a buyer, you might find yourself in a situation where it's tough to get your offer accepted. You might go through periods where you put in offers on house after house after house, and it keeps getting rejected. They keep going with other offers, and that is fairly typical in a seller's market, okay? So 3 things that you can do to help yourself in that situation. Number 1 is to get pre-approved. Okay, if you're pre-approved, that means that you are ready to put a contract on a house, and it makes your offer very much just more substantial, more credible, and sellers like to see that. Okay, so number 1, be pre-approved. Number 2 is make sure that you are ready to act quickly. Okay, in a seller's market, sometimes those properties they like fly off the shelves. A lot of times within hours, within days. And so if you're looking for a property, you find the right one, you really want to jump on it quickly so that way you can get what you want. The third thing is that you want to present a clean offer, what we consider a clean offer. And that really means that you want as few contingencies as possible. And some of them you really can't get around, but you want as few contingencies as possible. The more that you layer on, the less appealing that it becomes to the seller, okay? And that is when they might potentially go with a different offer just because it's less of a risk. So those are 3 things that you can, as a buyer, can kind of prepare yourself if you find yourself in a seller's market. So again, nothing that you can't get past. So All right, so last thing I wanted to talk about is a dual market. I don't know if you've ever heard of a dual market, but this is a situation where it kind of favors both sellers and buyers. And this just depends on the price point. And a lot of time you'll actually see this more often than not because it's kind of the world that we live in. You'll just see this on different price points within a given city, and that's going to change depending on where you live. So for example, let me give you an example. In Norman, and we saw this over this past summer and even still a little bit, we're seeing that homes that are less than about, I would say maybe right around 170,000, right around there and below, you are seeing a seller's market. So it's really hard to get your contract accepted. Homes are flying off the shelf. And as a buyer in that price range, you want to be pre-approved. You want to act quickly. You want to have as few contingencies as possible. And that's what we've seen for a while. I will say now that we're getting into October and getting closer to the holidays, that's starting to equal out. So we're not seeing that quite as much as we were over the summer. But that's just an example for you. On the other side, homes that are over, I would say over 200,000, maybe up to like 250, that sort of range, is more of a buyer's market. So in that sort of a range, in the higher price range, you have a smaller pool of buyers. And so the inventory kind of backs up, and so you start seeing more and more houses listed for sale, and then it becomes that buyer's market where you're just seeing a lot of inventory and not as many buyers. So you can see that duality, and that happens quite a bit. So excuse me. All right, so now we talked about buyer's market, seller's market, dual market, and so at this point, I don't know, you might be convinced that you might need some more guidance, you might need some more information about the local market, and if you are thinking of selling or buying in the next year or so, you can always feel free to reach out to me. You can, if you want, you can message me, comment down below. You can always just send me a message or give me a call. My number is 785-766-7938. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, you know, and I'm just happy to help you in any way that I can. So last thing I just want to mention, if you are not already a part of my Facebook page, I'm at Sound Living in OK, and I would love to have you join. I always post events and just fun things around the community, and so it's a great place to just join a bunch of people who support the community and enjoy connecting with other people in the community. So I'd love to have you. You should be able to join if you just click my business page name at the top, Sound Living in OK. And if you're catching this anywhere else besides Facebook, I will link it in the comments. So anyways, let me look and see if I can't answer any questions. For some reason, it's not showing me. Okay. Uh-oh, something happened. Well, hopefully it's going through. Okay, I don't see any questions. If you are catching this on the replay and you do have any questions for me, just put them in the comments below, or like I said, you can direct message me and I'm happy to answer any of those questions for you. Thanks so much for joining, and I will catch you all next time. Bye.